Electricity is getting more expensive, and many homeowners are starting to ask the same question: is there a better way to produce power at home? For years, solar panels have been the most talked about solution. But recently, another option has started gaining attention: small DIY generator systems that people can build or assemble themselves. Both approaches promise the same thing: less dependence on the power grid and lower electricity costs over time. But which one actually saves more? To answer that question, it helps to understand how each system works, what it costs to install, and what kind of energy output a typical household can realistically expect. Solar panels generate electricity by converting sunlight into usable power. When sunlight hits the solar cells inside a panel, it produces direct current electricity. This electricity is then converted by an inverter into the alternating current used by household appliances. The idea is simple. If your roof captures enough sunlight during the day, the system can power parts of your home and reduce the amount of electricity you buy from the utility company. In some cases, solar systems can even produce extra electricity that flows back into the grid. But installing solar panels is rarely a small investment. The panels themselves are only one part of the system. Most solar setups also require mounting equipment, wiring, inverters, electrical upgrades, and sometimes battery storage systems. Professional installation is often necessary to ensure the system meets safety codes and connects properly to the home's electrical system. For many households, the total cost can reach several $1,000s before the system begins generating meaningful savings. Another factor is location. Solar panels work best in areas with consistent sunlight throughout the year. Homes with shaded roofs, nearby trees, or cloudy climates may produce less electricity than expected. Even when solar systems operate efficiently, most homes still remain connected to the power grid. Solar production varies throughout the day and stops entirely at night, which means grid electricity often fills the gaps. This is where some homeowners begin exploring other alternatives. One option people sometimes look into is the idea of building small-scale generator systems themselves. DIY generators are not the same as the large fuel-powered generators used during emergencies. Instead, these systems are usually smaller setups designed to produce electricity using simple mechanical or electrical components. The concept behind them is straightforward. If a homeowner can assemble a system capable of producing a portion of their household electricity, they may reduce how much power they need to buy from the grid. Some DIY systems rely on small motors, alternators, batteries, and basic electrical components that can be assembled in a workshop or garage. Because the systems are smaller, the initial cost can be lower than installing a full solar array. Many of the parts used in these setups are widely available and relatively inexpensive compared to large solar installations. However, DIY generator systems also have limitations. They usually produce much smaller amounts of electricity compared to a properly installed solar system. They also require technical knowledge to assemble and maintain safely. Another difference is consistency. Solar panels generate electricity whenever sunlight is available. A DIY generator typically requires active input, maintenance, or manual operation depending on the design. In other words, solar systems tend to operate automatically, while DIY setups may require more hands-on involvement. Cost comparisons between the two systems can vary depending on several factors. Solar panels often involve higher upfront costs but can produce larger amounts of electricity over many years with minimal maintenance. Once installed, they operate quietly and automatically as long as sunlight is available. DIY generators, on the other hand, may be cheaper to build initially but typically produce smaller amounts of electricity. Their long-term output depends on how they are designed and how often they are used. For some households, solar panels make sense because they want a system that runs automatically with minimal daily involvement. For others, DIY generators are appealing because they provide a hands-on way to experiment with small-scale power production and reduce dependence on external energy sources. Another important factor is flexibility. Solar systems are usually fixed installations mounted on a roof or structure. Once installed, the system design rarely changes. DIY systems can sometimes be modified or expanded over time as the homeowner learns more about electrical systems and energy production. This flexibility attracts people who enjoy understanding how energy systems work and experimenting with different setups. But the most important point is this: neither solution is automatically better for everyone. Solar panels can produce significant long-term energy but require larger investments and favorable conditions. DIY generators can provide smaller amounts of electricity at lower initial cost but usually require more effort and technical understanding. the key insight is that both options represent different approaches to the same goal: reducing reliance on traditional electricity providers. Some households install solar panels to generate a large portion of their energy automatically. Others prefer smaller systems that help them learn how electricity works while producing part of their own power, and many people combine different strategies, improving energy efficiency while exploring ways to supplement the electricity they receive from the grid. Understanding these options helps homeowners make more informed decisions about how they want to manage their energy in the future. Electricity will remain essential in modern life, but the ways people produce and use energy are gradually becoming more flexible. Learning how these systems work is often the first step toward deciding which approach makes the most sense for your home. If you found this explanation helpful, consider subscribing to the channel for more videos that explore how home energy systems work and how people are learning to manage electricity more efficiently. And if you're interested in studying how small-scale generator setups are designed and how some people experiment with building them, there's a useful resource in the description that explains the basic components and structure behind these systems. It can help you better understand what's involved before deciding whether to try building one yourself.